It was reliably reported by several persons that a rain of stones fell from a clear blue sky on Carlin Street in the town of Chamberlain on August 17th. Fascinating, isn't it? Anyway, my name's Ian. I sell books on eBay, and I've got about a dozen orders to show you this morning. It's only like 10 to 9 in the morning, so hopefully a few more to come in before the day is over. So I'll be popping back as ever just to show you what's happening, when it's happening. But let's run through it. We've got nice wee mix, bundles, singles, pre-made bundles, and all the other bits and bobs that go with that. So first up we have the Lean Six Sigma Pocket Toolbook, £4.28. Business books, self-help, management stuff, always does rather well, I find. A whole massive £4.28. Next, for a slightly less massive £4.25, The Complete English Poems by John Donne. I remember having to study some of these when I was at school. The Flea, is that one of his? Don't know, all a bit metaphysical, but somebody likes it. £4.25. Into the pile it goes. Next, another single book. Seems all the single books went out kind of yesterday afternoon, evening, and that includes this one, Lucinda Riley and Harry Whittaker, Atlas, the Story of Past Salt. So I think this is the kind of final Seven Sisters book. Nice big hardcover, and it's sold for £10.25, so that's not bad. Into the pile, a big beastie though it is. Another single book, £4.35 this time. Lots of different prices there. Just listed this one yesterday, I think. The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. So I know there's another one, at least one more. She's written The Housemaid's Secret, but that seems popular. Why the heck not, eh? £4.35 for that beastie. Going to Mo. Then we've got 5 Peter May. So there we go. As ever, I just stuck a couple of these on yesterday, and that kind of refreshes the listing. So if there's people watching it or whatever, they're going to jump in, see what new titles are there, and that's what gets them selling. £12.99 for the 5 of those. And then through £9.99 for the 3 of those. So another 3 Peter May books, back-to-back sales. I was slightly confused at the time because it kept flashing up, you've got a sale, and going, but that's the same as the last one. But it turns out it was 2 different sales, a 5 and then a 3. So £9.99 for those 3. Which takes us neatly on to Jordan Peterson, 12 Rules for Life, an Antidote to Chaos. So another dude that pops up on YouTube all the time. That's him. Yeah, he's got opinions. But it's supposedly a very good book. I have not read it myself, but maybe one of these days I will. £5.25 for Jordan Peterson. And well, there seems to be kind of business management, political blah blah blah, you know what I'm talking about. Paul Krugman, Arguing with Zombies, Economics, Politics and the Fight for a Better Future. £4.40. So I say none of these are crazy big huge sales, but it all adds up. Just like this next order, which is another 5 paperback bundle. This time though, it ain't Peter May, it's Harlan Coben. 5 Harlan Coben paperbacks, £12.99. Go to Lindsay. Lindsay John. Right, now for one of the better sales of the day. Another of the Avatar Library Edition books. This one is The Search, and it sold for £22. Yeah, it's a big beastie, so I need to set it somewhere separate or it'll fall off the pile I've made. And then the pre-made bundle for the day, Discovery of Witches, Deborah Harkness. So the 3 of them in there, all wrapped up, nice and neat, ready to go, and sold for £9.99. Which takes us to the last order of the morning. Another single book, £4.99 this time, and it's the SAS Self-Defense Handbook. Lofty Wiseman, yes, John Lofty Wiseman. So I don't know if it's all a bit of Krav Maga. Oh, there's the one, side kicks. I did Taekwondo for a couple of years, and the side kick is a vicious kick. But when we were using it, it was always, you had to kick above the belt, so that makes it difficult in itself. And somebody hits you with it who's good at it, it hurts. But I couldn't kick very high, not as flexible as the youngins, and frequently fell over in attempting it, but also frequently accidentally kicked low, and that caused a lot more pain and damage. Not the intention, but it did prove a point. And that's what this one's showing here. Look, the side kick. Use it low, take the knee, take the leg. Aye, interesting. Strange that I should just happen to open up on that page. Anyway, SAS Self-Defense Handbook, £4.99. And that's Big John Lofty Wiseman. So that's all the sales so far just now. I'm going to get this lot packed up, and then I'll be back a little bit later on, probably to chat a bit more. See you then. 'Twas an afternoon of orders. They were coming thick and fast. At least that's what I tell myself when you see the truth. Don't laugh. Right, what do we have going out the door this afternoon? 5 orders. So it's been an alright lunch period, but it's what it is. 3 Peter James, $9.99. Been selling a few of them lately, so I'm assuming he's got some news coming out in paperback or whatever, and that's getting a wee bit of interest. Another Harlan Coben, Found, $6.99, because it's a single book off of the variation listing. I like it when that happens. Then the last one of these, so that's 3 have sold in the last week or so. So it would be nice to have had another big pile of them, because then I could have sold many more. But if you see a copy of this kicking about, it's going for £4.99. So if you have to pay more than like 30, 40, 50p, ain't worth picking up. But £4.99, I'm going to take it. Quite happy with that. Then just listed this, £6.99. The Girl on the Cliff, Lucinda Riley. So it's another one that's come from the variation listing that I have. So the idea is that people can go in and buy 5, pay for 3, but people do just go in and buy 1. That's what's happened here. So to pay £3 for the book and £3.99 postage, £6.99. And then finally, for this little lot, Stephen Baxter, The Massacre of Mankind. So the sequel to War of the Worlds, authorised by the H.G. Wells estate. I was kind of curious about this. I had it sitting for probably a few weeks before I listed it, so I thought I'll wait to read that. Then I realised I really wasn't going to get round to it, so I just listed it. And a few weeks later, that's it sold for a huge £4.25. What can you do? So that's us most of the way through Friday afternoon. Not an awful lot going out again, and I keep forgetting to put these in when I wrap my packages. Probably only about 2/3 got bookmarks when I sent them out earlier on, which is annoying. Need to do that properly, make sure that people get them so they can scan that QR code and go to my shop. That's the point of it. I've done a bit of listing this morning, got a few drafts to put up, and I have resisted the urge to go and get more books. Friday's usually a day where I'll go out, pick up a couple of hundred, and then have no room to move. But I'm not doing that. I really need to slow that down and work out what my optimal sales is with what I have got piled up, stacked up absolutely everywhere. And I've got hundreds of books to list. I don't need to grab any more. It's just that fear of missing out. There might have been something great. You can go in there, and I've been in there once and I found a dozen Folio Society books, some of them quite valuable. Go in there and find a stack of Warhammer? Aye, 40k books. All sorts of wonderful, beautiful things have appeared in the shops that I go to on a Friday. So it's always that, ooh, what am I missing, something special? But I just have to nip down in that and not do that at the moment. I really need to get 600-700 books out, and then I've got a wee bit of space to go buy a couple of hundred more instead of filling up another 500. So this weekend there will be no sourcing. there will only be shipping hundreds and hundreds of orders and listing hundreds and hundreds of books. So hopefully both of those come true, and not just the one that is within my control, i.e. the listing. So really not an awful lot more to talk about today. I've been doing lots of reading, so I'll also be doing one of my too many books episodes where I don't talk about the reselling, I just talk about books and what I've been reading. So if you've not seen any of those and that sounds like it might interest you, go find them, watch them. They'll be on the playlists somewhere, but for now I'm going to go and pack these books up and just say, or will I just stand here and chat whilst I pack them, because then I might actually remember to put the bookmarks in them as I go along. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. Something a wee bit different, isn't it? So I will just organise my space. So I've got my bags there and my bags there. I've got my pile of books to pack right here beside me there, and I've got my bubble wrap beneath me here. That's it. So the idea is, and my bookmarks just there. So the idea is always have everything where you need it to be, so you don't have to be reaching about and stretching about and going all over the place. My kit is scissors for the bubble wrap, sellotape for the bubble wrap, a pen for writing weights and postcodes on the bags, and my bags. That's it. So I can do everything with really not moving at all. So let's just get cracked on and see what we can do. So first up, we've just got a little single paperback going, which is the Stephen Baxter War of the Worlds book. Simple enough. You've got one, you've got the other, you put the two of them together, and you remember to drop in a bookmark. There you go, I remembered that time. Yes! One down. And then these bags are a great size just to get sealed up. Seal them up. Now, I don't always weigh things like that because it's going to be less than a kilo, and a kilo is the cut-off point, so I just go with the kilo and stick the first part of the postcode on the front. Now, that's going to be an everyone, so it goes in that pile. And we can move on to the next, which is another single paperbacky book on its own. So another of the little eBay bags. So it's like 200 of these for £17 something, but you get your £10 voucher and you've got your thingamajig shop. So it's like £7 for 200 bags. So that works out quite nicely. Unfortunately, it's eBay official supplies. And we all know how much eBay hate it when resellers don't get things to people as quickly as expected. So when you buy this, it's 2 to 3 days free postage. So if you order it on a Monday, you would expect it Thursday, Friday at the latest. 2 weeks. 2 weeks this takes every single time I order it. Once it took 3 weeks because the package vanished and they had to resend it. So I don't know what they do, but eBay, that's rubbish, by the way. Having to wait 2 weeks for a packet of bags is ridiculous. Utterly ridiculous. The one that they lost, so I got onto them after a week, 2 weeks, and they went, oh, we don't know where it's gone, something seems to have happened, we'll send another one out. That came in 3 days. So I don't know if it's they're just not posting them when they're meant to. They just stack it up and then get round to it when they want. But considering it's the eBay official supplies, that's a bit sketchy. You'd expect them to be leading by example, which they certainly do not. So anyway, this one gets its postcode written on it. And did I remember to put a bookmark in? I don't think I did, because I'm sitting yabbering away. Anyway, a Lucinda Riley book, so maybe they wouldn't be into Michael Crichton bookmarks. Apologies if you were expecting one. Next, that Jojo Moyes book. So a nice wee hardcover. Bookmark. In it goes. We'll stick a bit of bubbles around this one. I have found, I used to bubble wrap every single book that went out, but when I'm selling the books much cheaper, every penny counts, so an extra few pence worth of bubble wrap going around it kinda isn't always worth it. Sometimes I will do that, but more often than not at the moment I'm not. I'm just making sure they're in a bag that can go around it at least twice to give it the protection it needs, and that there's a bit of bag on the end so that if it's landing, it's not landing right in the corner of a book, it's the bag is taking the brunt of that abuse. But the hardcovers, they always just seem like fragile little bunnies. Well, it's really the complete opposite, isn't it? These will be much more resilient than a paperback book, but with the hard corners, if it does get dropped, it's slightly more likely to get damaged, so a wee bit of bubble wrap just to protect the ends of it is really what I like. And Jojo goes into the bag like a rabbit in a hat trick. Right, and there's this one going to, it's going to there. So this is heading off to Ponine. And into the every pile. Next, it's the Harlan Coben book. So it's another on its own. Picking it up, grabbing a bookmark, and sticking it into the bag. Having complained about how long these eBay bags take to get delivered, I do quite like them. They are just a good size for putting in and then, let's say, wrapping around them nice and snug. You take, you know, any single books. In fact, bundles of 3 they take quite comfortably as well sometimes. But this is going to be in whatever that may be. So another one for the every pile. Nearly all of these are going to be everys. Anything up to 1 kilo that comes from the single book sales is going by every, unless it is in a part of the country they don't deliver to a normal rate, in which case I will use someone else, depending on who's available. So finally, I've got 3 Peter James books. Again, into the wrappy bubbles. And let's sit it in a row. And it really is just a case of grab it and wrap it round once or twice. That's it. And there's the 3 together. Now, they would survive on their own, the same way that a single paperback would, but they would all shift about and you'd end up with a quite uneven package. So they can shift, they can twist. Once they end up at the bottom of a postage bag, they're going to get a bit mangled. So the bubble wrap, as much as it is for protection, is to turn them into a bit of a brick and keep them all together so that when they're getting lugged about, they stay as a block and provide each other with a bit of support and protection. So they're like a family, like a community. They're a little village, all on their own. Bookmark. And these 3 should also fit into one of the little eBay bags. Let's see. Now, sometimes I know I can get things in if I'm patient and force them, but to be honest, I really don't like spending 2 minutes trying to put something into a parcel if I can do it in 10 seconds. So if that hadn't fit straight away, I'd have just used a bigger bag. No point messing about with these things, that be for sure. So this is going to be over 1 kilo, which means I do get a weight on it. Ooh, it's just under. Curious. But the variation listings, they're advertised to go by Royal Mail, so therefore I send them by Royal Mail. Even though I could save 50p and send them otherwise, they will go by Royal Mail regardless, which makes this a 1000. Let's go into the Royal Mail pile. Now, as I'm saying that, I'm realising that 2 of the other sales that I just had were also from variation listings. so they're going to go Royal Mail as well. So I need to take them out the every pile and put them in the Royal Mail pile. Let's just find them. Where were we? We were looking for BN2, which is that one, and what's the postcode in the other one? SO23, which is that one. So I'll just write some weights on those. 500. So when I write weights on them, that's how I differentiate between what's meant to be going Royal Mail and what's going just the standard every. I only send stuff by every that's under a kilo, so if it ain't got a label, it's just that standard size, whereas I put weights on the Royal Mail ones, and that means I know where they're going. And that's the packing done, you know. I'm sure that wasn't interesting in the slightest, but I can have a wee chatter whilst I'm doing it, and you can see how easy it is to pack books and get them ready to ship out. So I'm going to leave it there. I will no doubt see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching, subscribing, liking, commenting, all of these other things. I'll see you in a bit, okay? Cheerio.